210 Boxing TV here with Robert Garcia. All right, Robert, so we had a night full of fights last night. Local fighters had Team Pettis. Ethan Pettis had a third round stoppage. Talk about Ethan Pettis' fight and Dan Cortez's fight.
Look, they were in camp for close to 2 months, so they were in great shape. They had great sparring over there. There's those times where sometimes training gets a little bit too long, and they start feeling a little homesick. That happened to Dan, but when the bell rang, he performed. That's a good thing. Sometimes, like I said, they're young. They get homes. They want to be at home. So it comes to a point where they get a little frustrated. But when they make way, they rest for a couple of days before the fight. Then they go out and perform. Both perform. I think Dan had a good performance against a solid opponent. Ethan got a knockout, which is beautiful. It's always nice to get a knockout. But they're developing little by little. They're doing good.
Is it good? We got some San Antonio kids, and we got the crowd to come out. Retama Park, something different, right?
It's nice, man. I love it over here in San Antonio. We'll be back for the Pro Box show June 7th. So
a few weeks.
And then after that, I'm pretty sure we'll do another show with Albino sometime, in late summer. So we'll be going back and forth.
All right, man. Some big news, right, has been coming out recently. A few weeks ago, they announced Pacquiao is coming out of retirement, right? The legend Pacquiao to fight Barrios. What are your thoughts on the fight and just Pacquiao coming out of retirement?
Well, look, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, I just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. But I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that? There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. So it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on. At that age, after like a few years, I don't know how many years he's been out. That'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Pacquiao, he's probably top 5 all time, one of the greatest fighters. Does this add or do anything for him? I mean,
no, definitely.
It's history, but I mean,
what is
it?
Champion. He skipped 1 or 2 divisions, so he could have easily been a 9 or 10 division champion. But becoming champion at 46 would be unbelievable, man. It'd be definitely top 3 best fighters in history.
The triangle theories, right? They say they go, well, Pacquiao lost to Ugas and then Mario beat Ugas, but then they say, oh, well, Mario lost to Thurman and Pacquiao beat Thurman. Do you think any of that weighs in?
I don't go by there, because styles make fights, and sometimes, like you said, you pick one that beat the other, and then I should win this. Nah, styles make fights. I think it's gonna be a good fight. I think Pacquiao still has enough to put up a good fight. Like I said, I don't see him winning, but it's still going to be interesting to watch.
So you think Barrios by decision or stoppage?
I think it could be by stoppage because at that age, man, the first few rounds, Pacquiao could be performing well, but his body's going to give up, man. I'm telling you, I'm like 3 years older than him, only 3 or 4 years older than him, only, and I don't think I could go 12 rounds. You know what I mean? It's tough, man.